Oh hi. Lyon, the city in France, the administrative center of the region Auvergne, Rhône, the Alps, special administrative education, the Lyon's mother country and 14 cantons. Also Rhône, which of structure it was allocated since January 1, 2015 with formation of the Lyon's mother country is the temporary prefecture for department. Third most populated city of France. It agrees to the researches conducted in 2015 by the PricewaterhouseCoopers company. Lyon is called the city of France, most attractive to life, having overtaken Paris, Marseille and Toulouse. The city is located in continental Europe in the southeast of France in the Rhône lowland abounding with gardens and vineyards. Distance from Paris by rail 392 km. To the west from Lyon there is the Massif Central, in the east the Alps. Through Lyon there pass transport ways from the north of France to the Mediterranean Sea and from the east to Atlantic.
Lyon is located on merge of two Rhône and Saône rivers, which is at the height of 174 meters above sea level and over which three hills tower.
Fauvire, 299 m. La Croix, 250 m. And Diacher. Lyon climate continental, but with influence of comparative proximity to the Mediterranean Sea. Winters are rather dry, moderately cold, with cold winds and generally snowless though there is strong rainfall. Often there is a hoarfrost. Temperature can change by 10 degrees during the day. The summer is usually dry, solar and hot, and temperature amplitude within a day sometimes reaches 20 degrees. The most high temperature of plus 40.5 C was registered on August 13, 2003.
Despite the drainage of swamps reducing evaporations considerable is a number of foggy days in the fall, in the winter and in the spring.
To the south from Lyon along the coast of Rhône the so-called chemical corridor, free where the chemical companies because of what this area is included in the list of zones of the increased risk of chemical pollution are concentrated is located. According to the treatise about the rivers attributed to Plutarch the Celtic druid Momer and the governor Atepamar, Hovenus to the oracle, founded on the hill the city which received a name Lugdun, from which there was a modern name of the city of Lyon. This legend also tells that at the time of laying of the base unexpectedly from all directions flew uncountable ravens. Therefore the city is decided to be called Lugdun, the hill of a raven, carrion crows the mountain.
Among specialists there are following opinions on word etymology Lugdun.
From the Celtic Lugus, Lug, the highest deity in the Celtic mythology, and Duno, the hill, strengthening, fortress. The name of the city designates thus the hill of god Luga. From the Cimbrian words meaning the hill on fenny, the marshland. The name Lugus is in turn close to the Gallic word lugos designating crows. The raven was considered as a sacred bird of god Luga and a harbinger of its emergence, and also the meadow could accept shape of a raven. Latin lux, lucis, light, could play a role in word formation of a toponym as the meadow was god of the sun, light and fertility. Homesweta can designate the name of the city thus. In the history of development of the ancient city of Lyon it is possible to allocate two stages. The first stage, the 3th century BB. The Gallic tribes of Segusive living according to Rhône and Saône. will organize in a point of merge of two rivers of Emporia, the place for trade, and then an oppidum Lugden, God's fortress Luga, being in the area of Hilfavir. The second stage. Foundation of the Roman colony in the 43rd year BB according to the decision of the Roman Senate. Lutz Plank, the military leader and one of the former associates of Julius Caesar, sends troops in the settlement of Gauls with the purpose to found the Roman colony and to expand Lugden. At the end of the 1st century BB, the 1st century and the colony extends, there are new office and private buildings, stone constructions replace wooden and earth, aqueducts terms, a forum, roads are built. The location of the city has important economic, social, religious and military value. Lugden becomes a subject of attention of many Roman emperors. Augustus, Tiberi, Claudius, Caligula and others visit the city. In the 27th year BB, Rome divides Gallia into 3 provinces. 3 provinces of Gallia met on this place thanks to what Lugden became the natural center of the road crossing between northern and southern east part of modern France. The city became a starting point, an important point in the Roman Empire on the way to Gallia. Ancient Lyon turns into the capital of Lugdunski Gallia and heart of the imperial power of all Gallic provinces that provides to Lugden a rank of the capital of Gallia. In total, with a role of the large transport hub and river port, this status provides to the city the prosperity and cultural blossoming which reached the apogee from the 69th to 192. Among significant architectural monuments of this period to Time Antique Theatre and the Oduum on Hilfavir, the Amphitheatre Friedi Gallium, big terms, 4 aqueducts, various mosaics which are stored in the Museum of a Gallo-Romance civilization remained. 2 Roman emperors were born in this city, Claudius and Caracalla. At Nerona the city burned down, but was built up anew. In 197 after fight between Septimate Sever and Claudi Albin near the modern area of La Croix, the city was plundered and burned that led Lugden to gradual fading and loss of former glory and wealth. The Christianity in Gallia before everything affirmed as Lyon. The Lyons martyrs who were injured for Christ's belief are known. Many Saint Bishops Lyons among which there are Street. Irenaeus Lyonski Street. Eist Lyonski Street. Antiochus Lyonski and many others are known. In the 5th century, during general economic decline because of invasion of barbarians and political instability, Lyon stops being the capital of Gallia. Its population migrates to the foot of the hill, is closer to the river. Now there is quarter-old Lyon. Later in 480 Burgundy capture Lyon and the city becomes the important political and religious center of the Burgundian kingdom. In 534, before falling of the Kingdom of Burgund, Lyon loses the political importance and passes under the power of Franks. The 6th and 7th century, the city endures the permanent extortionate attacks devastating dwellings of citizens. The archaeologist Camille Germain de Montauzin refers construction of Saracinski holes to this period. The artificial adits 13 came long connecting Lyon to the commune Mirabel. By the beginning of the 9th century, at Charles the Great, Lyon endures the period of prosperity again and returns himself former value.
But disintegration of the empire brought uncertainty. Development of the city strongly depended on church. It had spiritual, legal and financial power. In the Middle Ages, Lyon with surrounding area made the county Lyon. At the Emperor Conrad II passes to the German Empire. The King of France condemned similar capture. Germany and France drew after that Lyon river to the Sleepyhead. Lyon was divided into two parts. In 1157 the Emperor Friedrich Barbarossa gives to the Archbishop Lyons complete management of Lyon. In 1173 the Church received the power over justice, control of respect for customs, collection of a fare through the city, the right of stamping of coins and collecting of troops. In the 13th century two considerable cathedrals of Catholic Church took place here, the first Lyons Cathedral, 1245, on which excommunication of the Emperor of the Sacred Roman Empire Frederick II, and the second Lyons Cathedral, 1274, on which was discussed an attempt of reunion with Orthodox Church was made. Opposition of citizens and church lasted before the beginning of the 14th century. After several unfortunate revolts, the inhabitants, dissatisfied with feudal requirements of church, addressed for a patronage Philip IV Crossavi, who took Lyon under the protection. In 1307 it annexed Lyon to the kingdom and forbade the archbishop to judge. Finally Lyon was subordinated in 1310 as a result of a short-term military expedition. On April 10, 1312 between the Commune, the Archbishop and the King signed the agreement according to which Lyon was assigned to France and was exempted from payment of taxes. 1320, the Archbishop delegates to citizens a part of the administrative and managerial power. Since then the city copes the Commune from the bourgeoisie and dealers. Annually on December 21 appointed 12 consuls elected from rich citizens. Lyon became independent. Often we visit the King of France. The favorite cities often were operated by the King's representatives, used various financial aid. During Centenary War the city learned hunger and destructions, diseases. Plague carried away a third of residents of Lyon. By the end of the Middle Ages in Lyon there were 24 taverns, 32 hairdressers, 48 weavers, 56 tailors, 44 fish dealers, 36 butchers and grocers, 36 bakers of bread, 25 inns. The wealth in the 15th and 16th centuries to Lyon was brought by two fairs. They could be seen off under the decree of the king since 1420. They attracted foreigners at once. Italian bankers, small traders, cloth sellers of haberdashery. Neighboring countries positively influenced development of the city. From Italy the ideas of the Renaissance extended. The first French book was published in Lyon in 1470. Therefore exactly here publishing and distribution of editions actively develops. Lyon becomes the important center of publishing in Europe. Since 1494 the royal court and managing directors constantly visit Lyon. The close arrangement to the capitals of big banks in Italy simplifies warfare with it. The residence of kings is near the palace of the archbishop. The court suite is surrounded by intellectual elite where priests, dealers and royal officers enter. Influence of goods in the capitals leads to production of silk. In 1562, because of civil wars, Lyon appears in hands of Reformat and their head baron of a misinformation of Adra. After truce, the situation is not arranged. Commerce in the city dies away, fairs work not so successfully. Civil war ended with a revenge of Catholics and withdrawal from the city of Protestants. Among them there were many high-quality printers. In Lyon, the terrible epidemics of plague, 1563 and 1574, which carried away a third of the population of the city storm. Lyon joins Catholic League. It leads to introduction of the exclusive measures killing commercial activity. The last years were celebrated centuries by hunger and negatively affected urban demography. The last autonomies which the city administration used are cancelled by Henry IV. Thanks to production of silk, Lyon took a place of honor in the commercial system of Europe again. 3,000 people from card population were engaged in this production. At the beginning of the revolution, Lyon proved the supporter of moderate policy. However, inhabitants were extremely dissatisfied with the civil device of clergy. A new order of church committee which was appointed by the Constituent Assembly, and the extreme measures established by the Convention. The majority passed into opposition. Lands and structures of church were divided into plots and sold at. During the First French Revolution, Lyon in 1793 sided with opponents of convention. In the middle of terror in 1793, inhabitants oppose racketings of money in which the Jacobin municipality is engaged. On May 29, 1793, in Lyon, the revolt which overthrew dictatorship of the Jacobean Shally breaks out. In July, Shally was guillotined. In the same time in Paris, Jacobeans, Montagnara, execute Girondists. Thus, Lyon automatically became the enemy of the Parisian movement dominating at the time. The convention declared the city the enemy of revolution and sent against it army under the leadership of the General Kellerman. On August 9, 1793, Kellerman's army totaling about 65,000 people besieged Lyon, which garrison did not reach 10,000. Lyon's siege lasted for 2 months. In August and September there were several battles, as a result of which besieging moved ahead, but Lyon did not give up. On September 22, the troops of Republicans, which were located on the left coast of Rhone, near Gaetier, began shelling of the city with the heated kernels. On September 29, besieging it was succeeded to take the last redoubts of residents of Lyons on the right coast of Saône and a Fort Saint-Four. On October 9, a remaining balance of army of defenders of the city tried to break through a siege, but was crushed. On October 12, 1793, Lyon destruction is appointed. Commissioners of Convention Coloderbo, Fauquier and Coutin did not execute this sentence entirely, but thousands of inhabitants were shot or guillotined, the best buildings are destroyed, fortifications are broken, as well as beautiful facades of new buildings of Belcher Square. For Jacobeans it were symbols of pride of rich men. This period was marked by bloody massacres with locals. Sellers of silk were ruined, 75% of industrial enterprises stopped. Death rate reached 45%. After revolutionary riots, Lyon recovered very slowly. Only since 1801 the city began to revive economically thanks to special attention of Napoleon, who personally mortgaged the first stone at the beginning of restoration of Balker Square, and also thanks to successful work of prefects. In the 1850th years in the city the Catholic movement, Society of Prado, was founded. Except the competition of other countries, Lyon damaged the revolts 1831, 1834 and 1849 suppressed by military force. In 1840, 1856 and 1882 Lyon suffered from floods. In 1872 and in 1894 there were big industrial exhibitions here. At visit of the last the President Carnot was killed. Lyon was the center of the German occupational forces during World War II and also a stronghold of the French resistance. Lyon, one of 3 French cities where there is an intracity division into the districts called also sometimes by an arrondissement Gallicism. 2 others, Paris and Marseille. For the first time division of the city into districts was performed in compliance with the decree of March 24, 1852, when Lyon and the territories given it by the same decree was divided into 5 districts. Further, in process of increase in the population in suburban territories, they shared, so presently the city is subdivided into 9 numbered districts. Sites. From a set of the areas in Lyon, over 100 are allocated Balker Square, with chestnut avenues, gardens and an equestrian statue of Louis XIV, and Carnot Square with a Republic statue. The Russian writer Denis von Vezin, passing through Lyon in 1777, wrote down, "On the coast of Rhone the line of stone houses fine is built and the stone coast is made, but it is much worse street." Petersburg. This situation makes it very similar to street. Petersburg, that to a epocha that Rhone is not a lot of already neva. In a city circled Privysky mountains on which magnificent monasteries, country houses with gardens and vineyards are built. As in the country, and in the city all churches and monasteries are decorated with pictures of the greatest masters. We saw antiquities because Lyon is one of the most ancient cities. In it were 2 universal cathedrals. Hitherto a remaining balance of the house in which there lived the Emperor Neron are visible. Belong to number of the main Lyon's attractions. Cathedral Saint-Jean, Basilica of Notre-Dame de Fourvière, Metal Tower on Fourvière, the Hotel Dieu of medieval origin which was repeatedly renewing and reconstructed, where wrote François Rabelais the novel Life of Gargantua and of Pantagruel. On July 7, 2011, the Committee of the World Heritage of UNESCO adopted the decision on inclusion of a historical part of Lyon in the list of the World Cultural Heritage at the 35th session. The Old City, the historical part of Lyon, extended along Saône's coast. Presqu'île. The peninsula located between the Rhône and Saône rivers at their merge. Represents the center of Lyon. Here the mayor's office, the central square Balker. Streets with a set of boutiques, restaurants and bars, the opera, theatre Celestin, the numerous museums, Terra Square.
with the fountain created by the sculptor Bertoldi and allegorically in the form of the four of horses presenting four rivers of France, including Garonne and Dordogne, is located. It is caused by the fact that originally this fountain intended for Bordeaux. Saint-Jean Street. The main street of the quarter of Sengrang, it originates at Duchanges area, Menil Square, and comes to an end before Cathedral at Saint-Jean Square. One of the most visited. The name is given the street in honor of John the Baptist. The street comes to an end before St. Ioan's Cathedral. The area of the government. One of the most beautiful squares of Lyon, surrounded with different old four-storied buildings. It is called in honor of the building of the government located on it. As a rectangular form, it is paved by a cobblestone. In the center the tree grows. Mercier Street is located in the downtown, is divided into two considerably parts differing from each other, from which southern is the pedestrian zone, and it is attractive to tourists by the numerous restaurants, bars and houses of Renaissance. Earlier the pedestrian message in the old times, which are closely built up with houses high for those times, was significantly facilitated by network of horizontal and vertical corridors. Such corridor is called travel here. That end-to-end pass literally means trabulier, a peculiar site of the old city. In an easy time the complex system trabuli considerably facilitated rescue of fugitives from prosecution, since Middle Ages times, finishing for years of resistance. Through Rhône and Saône in the territory of Big Lyon, 27 bridges, some of which are historical or architectural monuments, are thrown in total. Nighttime lighting of some bridges does them even more attractively. The Festival of Light takes place from the middle of the 19th century at the beginning of December in Lyon. It is a festival of illuminations when inhabitants put on candle windows, and on all city streets light thousands of lamps, fires, lamps and lamps. The holiday, which is initially devoted to Virgin Mary who saved the city from plague, became this tourist event today. In days of a holiday to the city there come about 3 million tourists. You should not confuse a festival of light with other important Lyon's cultural action, the film festival of a name of Brothers Lumiere. Nuit de Fervier. Fervierski Nights. The festival of music, theatre and cinema takes place every summer under the open sky in the territory of ancient theatre of Fervier. Nuit de Sonar. The Sounding Nights, Nights of a Sound. A festival of electronic music. The end of May. The Higher Education and Science. University of Lyon of Claude Bernard. Minus 28,000 students. University 2 of Lyon of Brothers Lumiere, minus 30,000 students. University 3 of Lyon of Jean Moulin, minus 20,000 students. The Catholic University of Lyon, minus 8,600 students. École Normale Supérieure de Lyon. Central School of Lyon. And others. Industry. At the end of the 19th century, Lyon won first place in the world on production of silk matters.
Actually, silk factories in the city were not. By request of several large entrepreneurs of work were performed in small independent workshops. Within 50 km from the city there are 3 nuclear power plants at once. Views, Cray Melville and St. Alban. Transport. At the beginning of the 19th century from Lyon 12 days reached Paris. Lyon is served by 2 airports. International Airport of Saint-Exupéry. International Lyon, which is in 25 km to the east from the city, and airport of business aircraft Lyon-Bron. Railway transport is provided by 2 large TF stations within the city. Pardao, the international, long-distance and suburban transport. And Parash, a part long-distance and suburban transportations. The third large Lyon Saint-Exupéry TF station is near the international airport and serves the long-distance trains which are not coming into the city. Besides, within the city there are 3 more large terrace stations serving regional and suburban transportations. Vez, Saint Paul, and Gores d'Elu. Public transport is served by the Chiquiquiac Company and includes 4 lines of the subway, 2 lines of the funicular, 6 lines of the tram, the line of the trolleybus, more than 100 bus routes. There is also a network of bicycle rental. Stopping points are located in busy districts of the city. Average distance between the neighboring stations about 200 meters. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.